you four have come together as a somewhat inauspiciously. You sort of tried to band together as adventurers, but it turned out that you seem to have a natural inkling towards solving mysteries. You solved a few early on in your party career, and then just recently you actually did something quite impressive and uncovered a doppelganger who was masquerading as the leader of one of the large cities in the Dales, and that brought you a little money, but more fame as word spread, and a bit of respect from leaders of the communities. The Dales themselves are very gentle, rolling hillsides and farmland, woodlands, sort of a quiet pace of life for the people that live there. But this is a magical place, of course, as is everywhere. So there are dangers in the wilds if you stray too far from your town. And you guys have made a habit of helping people out with these, obviously for a bit of compensation to keep yourselves going. Now, I guess we need to find out who you guys are. And this is going to be almost as new to you as it is to me. So, first up on my screen is Rodri. What are you?
So, I am a half-elf. Full name is Rodri Gwyn Landros. About 6'4", kind of fawn-coloured skin. There we go. I couldn't find the right page there. Sort of a dusky blonde hair, light brown eyes. Previously spent some time in the City Watch before having to pack that in for a. Well, we won't go into that now. Oh, and I'm a cleric. Sorry, I forgot.
And you're a cleric. Okay, cool. Next up on my screen is, I'm trying to remember what your chasseur. Sorry, I'm having to look at names in different places. Is that how you pronounce it?
Chasseur.
And what are you, chasseur?
You told him how to pronounce
What
it
you
and
see
then ignored it.
No. What you see before you is a tabaxi. I'm still searching for my roughly the size of a human, and got a quite a decent looking attire, a nice coat adorned with. Pardon me, I'm still working on the.
No, I keep it. I like it.
It's got a simple attachment pieces coming across the chest. It's more of just a decorative exterior. Underneath, you can see a faint glimmer of a chain shirt. Those of you that know him know he is quite adept at, we'll say, the tracking and hunting of his particular quarry, and he is quite favorable to a bow. When times come to it, he will mix it up in close combat. Yeah, he's, just here.
Nice. Drowl.
I mean, you can kind of look at the picture and kind of get the gist. I'm going with the Dwarf Slayer from Warhammer, basically, but not completely tatted out or completely half naked or mostly naked. He does have clothes on, though they're basic.
How naked is he? Okay.
I mean, he's basically got clothes on, but they're nothing fancy.
And by clothes, you don't mean beard, right?
No, it's not just a beard.
And by basically got clothes on.
I mean, a little bit more than what Eskad had.
Okay.
So yeah, does have the big red beard and the red mohawk, and he used to be a soldier, and now he's pretty much just a merc. So.
Okay. Nice. And that leaves us with Isabel or Isabel? I don't know.
It's pretty much just a fancily spelled Isabel.
Okay. I didn't want to presume, but
Yeah, so Isabel is a rather pale elf. She has very rich red hair. Very I guess probably just the best way to say it would be voluptuous. She is dressed mostly in, just picture like some, gothy, floaty red dress kind of thing. Black jewelry, that kind of thing. And she does have a tiny little quasi-dragon that kind of rides around on her shoulder.
Nifty. Okay. So from what you guys have told me and told each other, do any of your characters feel sort of straight away any kind of pull towards any characters or distance towards any characters? Do you feel like your character would have a certain kinship with anybody based on what you've heard or otherwise?
There is a visual draw that Isabel has acquired. The eye of Chaucer, and a visible withdrawal to the angry little dwarf. Although he admires his aura. I sort of missed Phil's. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I think Rodri would probably feel a certain amount of kinship with Drowulf, actually, both having served in some sort of sense in the, in my case for the City Watch, and in this case for the army. Certain amount of, having gone through the same thing, goes.
That makes sense. What about the other two? Any particular pulls or distances you feeling straight off?
I think so. How long would you say we've been together?
A few months now. Sort of maybe getting on for half a year or more.
Okay. So I mean, as long as they've proven themselves, which it seems like they have.
Yeah, you found yourselves to be an effective team.
Then I think I would once people have proven themselves, regardless of who they are, their background, whatever. I consider them at least friends, and if not much more, So if as it looks like they've proven themselves to be worthy comrades, then they're sort of sworn kin as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Wolf, Isabel, any initial leanings?
I mean, based off of like the time frame and everything else, I could imagine that there wouldn't be any animosity. Probably everybody would be leaning towards the green, but being a dwarf, I can't really go much more than that.
Yeah.
Isabel would be very fond of all her companions, but her heart definitely lies elsewhere, outside of the
Okay.
group.
I mean, but can you be so certain? I mean, surely,
So-
just given the opportunity, for one evening, I might could sway your mind.
As the cat rubs up against her leg.
So
Yeah.
this being the case, I think the group probably was formed. I'm going to say Rodri and Drowulf actually were the initial sort of founders of the group, not on purpose, but just through passing through a tavern and sharing stories of their service and finding, despite their differences, a mutual respect. And perhaps Isabel came on later, followed somewhat. I don't want to say stalkingly, but
Not
maybe
stalkingly.
but maybe she caught the eye of Chesser and sort of helped sort of nudge his decision towards joining the group.
Well, yes, he most certainly was a factor in my initiative.
And so that was sort of how things came together. But you found that your talents all sort of mesh pretty well, despite your sort of differing backgrounds and race and classes. And you're sort of riding high on a surprise sort of little wave of relative fame. And this morning, you were called. You were just in one of the larger towns in the area, and got something of a requesting summons to the small town that is called Peldan's Helm. Now, just to help out slightly, I popped a map in there. I don't know if you've seen it under your characters. It is along the Moonsea Ride Road, near to Asherbunford. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. Anyway, that's the sort of large. Large is a relative term in these parts, but large to medium city of the area, and just southwest of that is Peldan's Helm. Not a place I believe that any of you would really have heard a whole lot about. Maybe you'd know the name in passing. But the offer of a mystery and a financial reward was offered, and as you were at a loose end, you made your way there. It took you the better part of the day to reach. You were kind of informed sort of mid-morning. The messenger came and found you, and it took you the rest of the day to make your way there, and it's sort of getting on to dinner time as you find your way up the road and just on your way in to this little town. It's actually a small walled town. It has high walls because the area immediately around it is pretty dangerous, with your local wildlife and such, wildlife and raiders. So they do take protection quite seriously here. That said, it is quite a nice looking place. And yes, you approach. You as you get nearer, you see that there is one main gateway that leads into the town. There are a couple of what look to be local militia that guard the gateway relatively casually. They do not so much wear a uniform as just wear sort of what leathered armor they can find, basic swords strapped to their side. And as you tell them your reason for being here, they look at each other, nod, and guide you onwards and in to the town itself, suggesting that you stop off at the meeting hall. Now, if I do this, does anything change?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's my first time changing page.
Yeah, we've got a map.
All right.
It has some things
So,
on it.
yes, that I shouldn't need to explain too much about what's going on here. Well, maybe a little bit because there's a couple of weird labels on there. But the guard guides you on to what he calls the meeting hall, which is the sort of hub of the town where people meet both for sort of council, but also for religious ceremonies. In times of town discussion, they meet here as well. So they bid you to head there. Assuming you agree and you don't want to throw any wrenches in my works early. Not killing all the guards? Okay.
No.
Give it time.
You... Okay, yeah. They look worried. But yeah, you can head on into town. And you sort of turn left at the sort of basic market square. Things are winding down for the day. Most of the buildings are stone. There's one prominent wood building opposite the meeting hall, which looks to be a sort of inn or tavern. You see the sign hanging from it as the very long name of the man with the fire in his hands.
I state how
I don't know that you've ever seen an inn with such a long name. There is just enough room at the bottom for a little picture of hands kind of upturned with a little flame coming out of
I
them.
mean, seriously, look at this sign. Who names their establishment to be such a? I don't know. This is a.
Well, I think
Just-
you'll remember the name, though, won't you?
The name's taller than I am.
Well, it's not difficult.
Bar.
Yes, it does not look particularly sort of for the richer folk. It is a basic inn, but it sort of passes by, and you're right, the only building of real prominence. Everything else looks to be sort of trade places. You see a lot of kind of open courtyards in front of the buildings where people have been working during the day and are beginning to wind down. Now you still hear the odd clink of a hammer or the sawing of wood. But you also see people sort of making their way home. But you turn onto the main thoroughfare and find the entrance to the hall. There is a guard or two very lazily stood outside the hall. They greet you again and encourage you to step on inside.
We do so.
Oh, hooray. Okay. After an awkward few moments of you standing there, you all go in. Inside, it is a fairly rustic, but as nice as anything you've seen in the town. It is a big, strong structure. As you look up as you walk in, you see suspended from the rafters a large great sword and helm that's sort of hung there. And to one end, you see a seat, not too elaborate, but seems to be prominent, with a gentleman sitting at it, surrounded by a couple of other humans, and they are just conversing. As you step in, they sort of slow their chatter and look towards you, and a look of recognition seems to pass on the seated man's face, and he says, "Oh, you've made it already. This is good. I presume You got my summons.
I would presume you are.
Well, step on forward. I'll let you know what has been happening. He's as you kind of approach, you see he is human. He's beginning to show his age. Looks like he could be in his late 50s to early 60s. He has sort of short, chopped grey-brown hair and a very neat beard. And it's not elaborately dressed, though maybe not as plain as the people you've seen coming in. But he does seem friendly. But he sort of motions you up, and he says, "We need your help badly." Did the messenger tell you anything of what had happened? He didn't.
No,
The
it's very
messenger.
vague. Wasn't given much
Well-
information at all.
Well, time was pressing. We have had a crime committed this morning. One of our townsfolk was murdered in front of his house. And whilst that is something we would usually attempt to handle ourselves, this is not something that happens in our town. And the circumstances are a little strange. So we thought we'd bring you in. I heard what you did with that doppelganger. The town is abuzz.
Right, yes, that's right, we did.
Well, maybe you can help here. If you do, there is a reward for you.
Sounds nice.
I guess I should just explain. At least what I've heard. So, the body was that of Delano Ingamar. He is our local healer. It was found in front of his house, which is just further up into town towards the north. His body was laid flat on his back, and it was split navel to neck. Nasty business. He was found by one of his neighbors, who heard the scream, and was just around the corner. And so she says, as she looked round, she saw him actually fall from the blow, but she saw no assailant.
That's peculiar.
Yes, I'm sure there is a reasonable explanation, but as you can imagine, people are making up all sorts of stories of witchcraft and ghostly entities. I'm not one who puts much faith in such things. I know that there's a more simple explanation, but I need people with your expertise to perhaps look into this a little further. If you can find out what happened, find out who did it, I will give you your party 300 gold. If you can apprehend the victim, I will most happily add a bonus to that. But time is truly of the essence, as you can imagine. I hate to have already waited this long, but we could make no sense of the matter. Does this sound like something you are willing to look into?
Aye. Sounds right. Something we can handle.
Yes, in our wheelhouse, I think.
Would not say we are here otherwise. I mean, you summoned us for such an occasion, and here we are.
Well, I appreciate your optimism.
Oh, it is in my, let's say,
Well, let me see if I can find somebody to...
an escort.
Yes, somebody to take you over.
Or
Any
an
of you ever
escort,
been
even.
here before?
No, first time.
Irvin. And he signals to a gentleman standing just a couple of paces away. In his sort of mid-30s, close-shaved hair and stubble, stern-looking man, dressed in leathers, a nicer sword at his side. And he's been watching you with seems to be taking you in, assessing you, and he just steps up and says, "Yes." And the steward says, "Will you find somebody to escort these folks?" And Irvin says, "Very well, although I've told you we could take care of this ourselves." And the steward just shakes his head. But Irvin kind of wanders out to the front door. "Leifka, take these people. Show them where it happened." And you see step in one of the guards from the front, female human, looks to be no more than 18, mousy brown hair kind of pulled back into a ponytail, has kind of a innocent, untried in battle look, though she is dressed in the sort of basic leathers and sword of the local militia, and she just kind of bobs her head in and nods nervously and awaits you.
I'll just walk out the door. Just tell her to lead the way.
And where Drawolf goes,
All right. Assuming you you will follow on, she kind of looks a little wide-eyed as you head on out, just as she kind of takes in your party's overall look. It's a lot to take in. There's not a lot of diversity within this town. Mostly human, though a few odds and ends outside of that. But she says, just this way," and leads you through the streets. You head sort of north and then down a smaller alleyway, sort of towards the top of the plaza, and to the left. You sort of turn left as there's buildings either side, and it's a small road that leads to a house. All right.
There we are, look.
So, you're just gonna have to believe that these people are you. In case you're wondering, oh, I guess I could assign them to you. So that would be
what are you, some kind of...
Isabel. I gotta stop calling you Isabel. That would be Chessa.
And just so I
That
can make a
would
quick
be...
name, who hired us again?
It is... Oh yeah, he didn't actually introduce himself. But we'll assume he introduced himself at some point, or you asked. His name is Madron Rainreaver. That's going to be for you.
I'm not used to
And
typing notes.
then-
It's strange.
I feel like that the fact he didn't introduce himself makes him the prime suspect.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
most certainly.
Okay, so if you guys want, you can attempt to move the character that you think might be your character a little bit. Oh, somebody... Woohoo! Hey! Ooh, classic rogue.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I've seen them all move
I
now.
even have ninja.
It's pretty hard to find a good Tabaxi rogue on here.
There's
But
not a lot
it'll
happy.
do, eh? It's not super important as of right now. But yes, you find yourself in this sort of alleyway / road that leads up to a house at the end. And it's pretty obvious which house it is because there is a guard standing probably a good 10 feet away from the corpse, but definitely close enough that they are watching over the corpse of the victim. You see the victim's house is behind a little ramshackle, sort of unkempt through neglect, and the door sits open. The body lays on the floor, and Leafka just says to you, "Well, here you are. I suppose I better get back to the town hall. Just be careful, okay? There's something spooky."
Yet to be determined. Oh, young Litka. And before you go, one simple question. How long have you...
Worked here about a month.
Good to know.
I've lived here all my life.
Even better to know. Okay.
Well, be careful. Bye. And she sort of makes her retreat as properly as she feels able. And you find yourself, looking down at this body. The street is mostly empty. You see the odd person kind of walking by sort of behind the houses and stuff, but the street has kind of got a bit of a quiet air, what with the situation.
Just sort of look
and
around the general area.
yeah, you guys are now free to do what you like. Looking around the general area, you see houses to either side. You see, at a cursory glance, you see that what the steward told you is fairly accurate. There is indeed a dead body in a pool of blood in front of a house.
And there's a guard out.
Yeah. There's a young man guarding who seems to be just watching over the body.
I'm gonna hold my hands up to my party members that are coming up and be like, do not come too close. We have the scene of the crime we need to investigate. You there? And I point to the...
Hello?
Yes, you have... How many people have been around here?
None since this
Is
morning.
the ground untouched? None. Good.
Yes, I had strict instructions not to let anybody close.
And sorry, what was your name?
Levin.
Levin. Nice to meet you, Levin. I'm Rodri. These are my companions, Isabel, Drawolf, and Chasseur.
Good to
We'll
meet you all. And you
leave in
notice his eye linger slightly on Isabel, but he tries not to.
She catching that, she just winks at him.
He looks hastily away, blushing.
Major sent us over here to take a look.
Yes, I heard you were coming over.
Right. Now, what seems to have happened here then?
I thought that's what you were going to find out.
Well, in your own opinion.
Oh, looks like somebody looks like they had an altercation. Maybe I don't know how, but looks like they caught the sword right up the the midriff there. And if I had to estimate, probably death by bleeding.
And how long have you been doing this job?
I've been doing it a couple of years now.
Right.
He looks fairly young as well. What you not agree?
Well, you assume there was some sort of altercation. I mean, were there any witnesses? Have you got anyone who's backing that up? By any
Well,
chance?
I mean, not a witness at the moment of the crime, but soon after.
Because I can't help but notice we're in the middle of the street here. Do you
Yeah,
think someone would have seen it?
well, I did hear that it happened right before dawn, so most people were still getting up, I imagine.
See.
Did Madrin not say there was a neighbor who saw the incident?
Yeah, that were oh boy, who was that now?
He forgot her name as well as his own.
Well, I got here a bit later, you know. I think it was Kilnis. She's a carver, just lives just over there, and he points to the house at the south of the alley. I forget how you ping. Yeah, that's the one. She lived just over there, and she was just getting up. She heard the commotion from what I heard. I haven't
What was
spoken
her
to her
name again?
myself. Her name is Kilnis. You shouldn't be
And
able to miss her. She's the only halfling in town.
With a name like Killness.
Kelnis.
Oh, that clears her up completely.
take her off the list. We don't need to worry about her anymore. Now, remind me, what was this chap's name? Dead fella.
His name was Delano. He was the healer.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Only healer in town.
Yeah, I think that's why the steward is so worried about this. It's going to be a problem. They're not easy to come by. Good healer. And whilst he wasn't the friendliest of fellows, he seemed good at his job. He helped me up one time when I cut my arm real bad.
Not friendly, you say?
No, he had a bit of a sour disposition, but a lot of healers do, right?
Think you find out quite friendly.
Oh, no personal feelings.
Well, I'm just saying. Not all bad. Was there anyone he'd had any particular issues with?
I I don't know myself. He had his detractors round town. A lot of people sort of whispered behind his back, like they do. He didn't like to come out much. He would only ever sort of come out for to make his house calls when people needed it. He wasn't much of a socialite.
Can I look and see what kind of like, is the cut? Can I make anything out of like maybe what kind of weapon it was?
Sure. I guess you better roll an investigation.
Okie dokie. That's good.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what happened there, but I'm gonna guess it was a 0.
I believe if it's on advantage, it does roll the. It does, in theory, it's the left one.
I don't know why it's doing that.
If you open your
I'm
character sheet,
on the roll queries.
and then
Please roll advantage.
yeah, exactly that. So I have it on toggle at the moment.
Advantage toggle. Okay.
Can we just blame this on
I think fine too.
because I have
It'll do.
Well, it seems like it's normally set on always an advantage. I had to change it to toggle.
Yes.
So if anything, you definitely can't blame it on me.
No, I had
but
to
it may
change mine as well.
It may just have been still technically set on that, even though I gave it the option to toggle until you untoggled it, until you unadvantaged it.
I don't know. Mine was automatically set at normal.
Oh, it's just you guys' fault then. Yeah, it's hard to tell. What weapon do you normally use?
A great axe.
Okay, I figured,
Does it
but I
look
didn't want to. I didn't want to be stereotyping anybody.
Right.
So you are more used to dwarven weapons, and it doesn't look like the cut of a dwarven weapon. It looks like, if you had to guess, a sort of sharp slashing blade. But probably not an axe, because that tends to be more. This is a long sort of cut. But with a 0, I can't give you much more than that.
I honestly feel like that was a lot for a 0.
I know, yeah.
He looks like he was cut.
Yeah.
He looks perfectly. He looks perfectly fine. You can't see any wounds.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I think he exploded by himself.
Can I just? So, did you say there were some people sort of watching? Is there any kind of crowd or anything?
There is. Make a perception check. Let's roll some dice.
10.
Good gosh, with a
10.
6 plus 6.
Yep.
Classic. So as you kind of look up and look around to try and gauge who might be watching, a lot of people seem to be walking, and you wonder if you maybe were a little slow and they kind of caught your gaze before you saw them. But you do see one face kind of peering from behind a northerly house. Just kind of looks like a pretty small person, just kind of peering in your general direction, kind of watching what you're doing.
Can I tell what type of features? I mean, we're talking about a human child or a gnome or a halfling?
Looks to be a child.
Okay.
Of human origins, or a very young halfling. They're a little ways away, and it's, I know you have the sight, but they're sort of hiding as much as they can. So it would be easy to mistake them.
I'll just sort of whisper, "Here, I'll be right back," and I'll sort of wander over in that general direction.
You see, they sort of begin to sort of creep back behind as you head that way.
I thought, "Oh no, it's okay, it's okay."
And they sort of stop for a moment.
Hello, I'm Rodri. Who are you?
They kind of, intimidated by your large size, they just say, "Fern."
Hello, Fern. Um, tell me, Fern. I bet you see a lot of things over here, don't you?
Maybe.
Have you ever seen anything like this before? And I'll do a little thaumaturgy. And I'll hold on. And I'll get to use this very often. What are there any windows or doors around me?
Yeah. I mean, there's windows and doors on the houses
I'll just kind of
to either side.
point at the windows and just make them open and close briefly, just kind of indicate.
He jumps a little bit, but then says, "Yeah, I've seen that a bit before."
Oh. That's what I was expecting. So there's someone here who could do that.
Yeah, the the pub owner. He can do a bit of that.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
I might
What are
have
you
to say
doing
hello
here?
to him. Oh, we were just taking a look at old Delano there.
Yeah,
Is that Vern?
yeah. uh, no, he doesn't. He does have he kind of has long, sort of just past the shoulder, dark hair.
Oh.
Looks to be sort of early teen. He's actually wearing a pretty bright orange shirt compared to what you see on a lot of the people.
Mhm.
He says, I ain't seen nothing like that before though.
Oh, what happened over there? No,
Hey.
it's
Here, nasty.
very. I noticed you were looking over there. Are you were you just interested?
Yeah.
I don't suppose you happened to see anything this morning, did you?
I saw lots of things this morning.
It should have been specific. I don't suppose. I don't. You saw anything to do with Delano this morning, did you?
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
See. Well,
It's a tough life around here, you know.
oh no, I do. I absolutely do. What do you think it would take to jog your memory?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just
something to shine my day up, maybe.
reach in my pocket and pull out a silver piece. Think this might jog your memory a little?
What did you pull out? Sorry.
Silver.
He says, "Oh, that could help. That doesn't look real though."
I'll toss it over to him.
He sort of bites it. Oh, it is real.
Oh yes.
And he says, "Yeah. So this morning, I was. Well, hang on. I think my friend saw it better. Let me go grab him." and he sort of runs back, begins to sort of run back around the house, and sort of runs off into the town. I can't pull him off the screen, but he's gone. Yeah, he kind of runs back that way.
Well, the last I see of that money. I'll wait for now.
Just to see what happens.
Alrighty.
I don't feel very optimistic.
I'll ask him, Rodri, what was that all about?
I figured we might be able to get some localized that maybe the I'm just trying to win over the locals, and if I can get some information, I have a feeling that maybe some of the local law enforcement aren't necessarily on good terms with the urchins, the youths. I know they caused me a right pain when I was doing their job, so I say they feel the same way. But for an outsider, they may not have as much disliking towards, Well, I gave him a silver, and he said he was going to go get his friend, and I have a feeling I won't see either of them. But, we'll see.
Well, if you see him again and he's not going to help us out, you point him out, and I'll lean on him a bit.
Right. Now, to confirm, because we've had this trouble before, when you say lean on him, do you just mean like figuratively, or do you mean like lean on him with the blade of the axe?
It depends on how much you want that silver back.
I mean, I don't care about the silver. I'd much rather have the information. But, I think poor old Delano spilled enough blood for the town today. No need to go spilling any more.
Well, I wasn't going to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Then,
Whilst they were conversing,
Mhm.
can I investigate the area surrounding him to look for peculiar quantities or styles of footprints or tracks, or if this was kind of like the only if his feet print?
Yeah, that's going to be a straight up investigation.
Could I? What's the word for it?
Oh, you'll.
Could I haggle a survival check?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll let it be a survival instead.
That's okay.
Are you sure you want to do a survival check?
No, I definitely want to use an investigation. I don't.
So, are we sure we're like crack investigators?
It's not looking
First
that way,
three
is it?
rolls were 1, 4, 1. Yikes.
We put the crack investigators. Just
Yeah.
What's I assume tabaxis have. I haven't played in anything with tabaxi before. They have good vision, right? Because it's getting late afternoon.
yeah, we have dark vision.
Okay. No, that means everybody does, I believe. Right?
Yes.
We've got a half elf, an elf, a dwarf, and a yeah. Okay, just checking because it's kind of getting on a little. So you have a look around, and it's hard to discern amongst the footprints. It looks like other people have sort of come and gone. So there's enough different sets of footprints. You figure maybe the guards have changed out a few times. But yeah, it's footprint-wise not a whole lot of discernible information. You feel.
Most certainly not the trail to follow. Going to approach Rodri and I'm having a bit of a problem finding out if there was any other individuals around. How was your luck with the little?
Well, we'll know if and when he comes back. So far, I've learned that he has a friend who saw things better, allegedly, and that it's hard life living here.
Who
Oh.
was that?
What?
Who was that? I couldn't see. Who were you talking to?
Oh, I was talking to Vern.
Vern?
Well, that's what he said his name was, yeah.
I don't think there is a Vern in town. Not that I've run across anyway.
Great. Definitely lost my money. Tell me something.
Yeah.
The pub owner.
Oh yeah.
Is he magically inclined in any way?
He says he is, but I think he just does little tricks to please the kids.
Okay, well. Not everything I got was a lie then. Or something.
I've never seen him do anything more than, pull a coin out from behind the kid's ear or whatnot.
What's his name? The pub owner?
His name? Silban.
Silman, right. Thank you. Just make a note of that.
No worries.
And he will actually literally pull out like a little notebook and make a note.
How's it coming? You feel like you're close to cracking the case?
Oh, making great progress, yes. It's all a case of building up piece by piece, little by little. And we're still assembling, we're still gathering all of the bricks. That's the start, you see. And then once we've got all the bricks, then we can build the wall. Once we've built the wall, then we have the house built, and it's all there, and we have our case. So just give us some time.
Goes again.
Yeah, I just kind of go off and look at the body some more.
His eyes kind of glaze over a little bit.
And those who were looking would see a bit of relief on Rodri's face.
Chaucer kind of like sneakily creeps up behind Isabel and like whispers at her, "So what do you think?" Kind of over her shoulder.
She reaches up and scritches a finger underneath his chin. And, well, darlings, I do think we have a direct witness that we've not spoken to yet. Perhaps we should have a conversation with her.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Looks like Delano's not going anywhere.
I'll make sure of that.
Yo.
Just go knock on
As he
the door
stabs
over
the
there.
body with the spear.
Yeah.
I want to. I had terrible luck before, but I'm gonna actually turn the body over to see if there's anything in the back. If there's anything else, I guess just do a general investigation outside of the cut if I can, if that's possible. Since I know I already did inspect the wound and it went so well.
You did a specific inspection. Now I'm fine to let you guys inspect different things, even if it's close together. This being a more sort of intensive situation. So yeah, go ahead and investigate his, back quarters and such.
Okay.
Can I aid him?
Yeah, you can kind of get in there and look.
Do you want me to
some
roll
advantage.
again, or do you want?
Yeah, roll again.
Okay.
We've had much better luck in the two of us. You see, how could we fail?
It's a 9.
A 9. So you do what you see in terms of on the ground beneath him is pretty much just that pool of blood. It is beginning to sort of congeal at this stage. It is not fully dry. The wounds do not go that deep, and just sort of taking a cursory look at the back of him, he sort of wears robes, but nothing too posh. They look like maybe once they were fairly nice, but he's had them a long time and they've lost their luster. And they are just soaked with blood now. There's nothing kind of under him of any excitement.
Did he have any holy symbols visible?
I'm going to actually make you do an investigation to look for that as well.
Alrighty. Ooh,
Nice.
Thank God, finally.
soft 20.
A break in the case. Um,
Nope, he doesn't have any symbols.
yeah. So you are sort of knowledgeable about focuses and symbols and whatnot, being a user yourself. Probably not the right term, but a user.
Hey man, you got any holy symbol?
You do notice on his right hand is a ring. It's a gold ring with a large garnet in it. And as you sort of peer at it more closely, you see that the stone is sort of almost like it's been punctured and cracked. It's sort of ruptured somewhat. And it does have the look of something that somebody would use as a focus. Such a big ornate stone, quite a lot of value to that. But not a holy symbol necessarily. But it has the look of something that could be used under the right circumstances as some kind of casting focus.
I'm going to take this for inspection later, I think. That's alright with you?
Yeah, just make sure you return all belongings
Of course,
post
of course. Don't
investigation.
worry. It's just it's another brick in the wall, that's all.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Shall we go speak with Kelnis then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wander over. There's not far. Knock on the door, and not long after, a small. Oh, I guess I could get a person here real quick. Nope. Nope. Sure. Okay. You surrounded her. It did kind of look whilst you were around the body like you were about to like just demolish it. Looked like you kind of snuck up on somebody asleep and were about to horribly murder them. So yes, a small, well, a normal-sized halfling female, sort of middle-aged, she has like a handsome but weathered face, like she's spent a lot of time outside, well muscled, shaggy sort of blonde hair, and plain clothed like many of the people here. She just kind of opens them and says, "Yeah? What is it? Who are you?"
In Halfling, I will just say, good day, good lady. And kind of give a little half bow.
Well, you don't look like a halfling, but you speak like one.
And I'll flip back to come and just say, it is proven to be useful to be able to speak with everybody where I go. My name is Rodri. These are my companions, Isabel, Drawolf, and Chasseur.
A pleasure.
We were hoping we
And
might have a word with you.
What about? You selling something?
No, and about the unfortunate business over there with Dalelands.
Oh, she kind of glances over again, but kind of turns her gaze quickly away. Oh, he's still there. It's not right. What did you want to know? I told the guards everything.
I mean, if you wouldn't mind, could you run us through? Could you run through everything with us as well? It's just
Oh,
we'd rather not have second-hand information.
okay. Well, like I told them, I was getting up, ready for work, eating my breakfast, just gathering my stuff behind the house back there. She kind of points back behind the house when I heard horrible, blood-curdling scream. No sooner had the scream finished than I poked my head round, and he was just standing there, looking down in horror at the wound before he toppled backwards, fell flat on his back. I can't make any sense of it. Whoever did it moved like the wind. It's pretty much what I saw. As soon as I saw how bad that was, and there was no chance for him, I ran right to the town hall and reported it.
And that's a good thing you did, fulfilling your duty.
That anyone would do.
Well, maybe not everybody would. um, do you know of him having any issues with anyone in town?
Well, I can't say anybody really liked him. He sort of gave off a vibe of not wanting to be friendly. The kids always talked like his house was haunted, but I think that was partly a rumor put by himself, just so they wouldn't come close. You know what I mean?
I look over at the house while she says that.
I couldn't say he had any strong enemies. Yeah, I mean, he was our healer after all. You got to stay in their good books, right? In case anything goes wrong.
And you are his neighbor. Did you perhaps see any, wayward lovers at night? Anyone who might have felt jilted?
She sort of chuckles and says, "I very much doubt it. He wasn't the wayward lover type. If there was, he was keeping it real secret. Be honest, I never really saw anybody go to his house. Never had cause to, really. He always went out to people when there was stuff wrong.
So, was he extra secretive then?
I don't rightly know. I know it sounds horrible to say, but I never made too much effort to really get to know him. He sort of didn't seem like he wanted it. I'm not a sociable type myself, so I left him to himself. I don't know if I'd say he was secretive, as much as just preferred to keep his own company.
Speaking of keeping his own company, did he have? Is he a long time resident in this here town?
I've been here a good few years now. I've probably been here a good 10, 20 years. Not born here. Don't know where he came from.
No particular friends of any?
No, bit sad, really.
Interesting.
My dears, I do think it would be a good idea that we perhaps maybe search his house at this point.
This is very...
Rather you than me. I don't believe
Oh.
don't believe in the ghost stories, but it's a little creepy, isn't it?
If you believe in the ghosts, even then, they are not nearly as dangerous.
Aye. Well, I must be off getting my dinner. Bye.
She was out.
Well then, comrades, I believe Isabel is correct. Time to go investigate the house?
I think so, yes. I might.
Well-
Ghost stories are interesting because even if they're not true, there's something seems funny about that.
They said his house was haunted. As a peculiar hint, yes.
Seems like it.
And all the problems seem to occur around his place. Or so it seems.
So far.
I think if you are going to head in that general direction, now's a good time for just a 5-minute break.
Sure.
I'm going to go grab me a drink.
Look at that pro DMing.
all right. Calm it down. There's no need for that.
The revolution has begun.
Hello.
Hello.
Come back, sound like a Bond villain.
Yes. I think now it is time for you to take your final journey. Guards, take him away.
We've been watching through the James Bond films recently.
Have you?
Watching them in order.
Like from...
All the way through. Yep.
How
We are up to,
curious.
we're up to Timothy Dalton,
Oh, good stuff.
the underrated Bond.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Criminally underrated.
I mean, not actually criminally underrated.
No.
It's like, it's not illegal.
Legal.
But yeah. It's always tough for Angie and the Roger Moores.
Hmm.
I still have a soft spot for him because he was the first one I knew, but I can for sure see why they're rough going, coming at it through fresh eyes.
How would you rate Pierce?
I rate Pierce Brosnan himself as a very good Bond. I rate his movies as starting really good and declining really fast.
That's a very fair assessment, I think.
As we left, you were talking about going to the house.
Yeah.
I do believe perhaps that is where we're heading.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Perhaps.
you're going to have a 5-minute water breaking game now.
Yes.
So, once we get inside, I will, I'll just take a moment or two to focus my energy, and I will ritual cast divine. Divine? I don't think I mean detect magic.
Okay.
So while they're doing their various bits and bobs, that's what I'll be sitting doing.
Okay. Can you pull it up on the thing when you get a moment?
You want me to flat it at you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna just call you Chaucer. I'm sorry. Call it.
You can call me Chas if it's
Fine. Chaz. Fine. I will. You know, bring you around. Just ask her to like circle the house all the way around, so I can get a second pair of eyes on it. See
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
see anything walking around.
As you walk around the house, you don't see any other doors. You see sort of small windows, with sort of dirty looking glass. But there seems to be no other doors or sort of entrances round the back. Round the back, as you sort of look from the house, it just kind of looks over to, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, it just kind of backs up to the wall. It's not right up against the wall. There is a sort of little patch behind of ground, but it's of not huge interest. And then beyond it, the wall.
so nothing
Not much.
strange.
Nothing. No, I won't make you roll because it doesn't matter what you roll, you won't see anything of use. Maybe you'll do an amazing, see something tiny, but it won't help you. So let's see.
As we round the corner, he's like, Isabel, so good.
I just walk inside.
You're used to these shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isabel is heading inside. Is this a one-story house or a two-story?
This is a one-story. As previously mentioned, it was. I don't have an interior on the map, by the way.
No, sir. No.
You just have to use your imagination or walk on the roof or something.
This is impossible. I can't imagine anything.
Well, Isabel is, as soon as she gets inside, she is heading straight for the bedroom.
Okay. So I can let you know what is what as you go in. Sort of like I said, slightly run down. The door was open. As you walk into the main room, initially you're kind of met with sort of a living room slash diner slash kitchen. It's pretty much you could call it open plan, I suppose.
I
There's
like this open concept.
there's little in the way of food in the sort of little kitchenette section. There's a bit, but it's not very exciting. And the cooking fire looks like it's burned down a while ago. There's a few books on shelves, kind of on the walls. And there is a door that leads left and a door that leads right, both of which are open. The right door does look like it leads to what could be a bedroom. The left door, hard to tell from here. In the center of the room, just sort of assorted furniture, like old leather seats, a table for the kitchen, and then like a very dirty deerskin, like a deer hide rug on the floor. Everything kind of has that layer of, for a house of a healer, kind of dirty, to be honest. And if you are, just for Rodri real quick,
Yes.
as you walk in, looking this way and that, you don't really, do you kind of do a full circle look around?
So I mean, it takes me 10 minutes to do it because I'm.
Oh, you're ritually casting?
I'm ritually casting. So
Well, I will let you sort of do that whilst they're doing a preliminary look.
that's
if
what
works.
what I imagined. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll just sort of maybe go sit inside the front door, just so I'm not sitting in the street doing it. You know.
Yeah. Isabel, are you looking for anything in particular in the bedroom, or you just
She is
what's your
planning
thought process?
on rifling through bedside tables and underneath mattresses because that is where people hide their interesting things.
Alrighty. I will get you to roll an investigation, a general sort of investigation for sort of rummaging through the bedroom stuff. You see like a sort of bedroll on the floor, and then there is sort of an open wardrobe of
Wow.
of
Oh.
I mean, you still at least you managed a 3. At least you got into the positives there
I mean, it's still a nat one, though,
with
isn't
that
it?
with that natural one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You for a moment as you walk in, you think, "Hang on, is this a bedroom?" But then you come to your senses and realize, "Oh, that is a mattress. I couldn't make it out at first." But it is actually pretty sparse, and you sort of attempt to rifle through things, but you find yourself kind of disgusted by as you kind of lift up the mattress underneath. It's sort of hard to tell if it's kind of moldy or mildewy, but it's unpleasant. And as you go over to the wardrobe of clothes, you sort of begin to sort of rifle through, but like sort of puffs of dust kind of come up off of them. So you actually find yourself a little sort of disgusted by the whole thing, and it sort of puts off your keen investigative mind. And you come up short of anything, that you would deem useful.
She'll
There's
definitely come out of the bedroom just with a pinched expression on her face. And well, there was definitely not a woman's touch in this house.
Well, that confirms that then. That's good, I suppose. Useful information, right?
The story adds up. No,
what's everybody else doing?
Ralph, shall we continue our duet of?
What do you have in mind?
Perhaps you go low and I'll go.
Yeah, sure, why not?
And you're checking out the main living area.
Yes, I would like to.
You just kind of making a general look around.
Hard to say. Look for something. Yeah, anything out.
Okay. You can do.
I'll assist. I'll assist. He can roll. If
Okay.
that's what you want.
Yeah.
I figure we both roll separately. I'm not too.
Well. Okay.
That checks out.
I was gonna say you could roll a perception if you wish to get a general feel, but I don't think it. I mean, are you gonna break 10? Okay.
I think
you can roll a second one as your advantage for perception if you want to just do a general.
perception would.
Okay, but you did get advantage from Drove potentially, so you can roll again.
Wow.
I mean, it's better, sort of, but not really.
You guys need to buy some new dice. So that's a natural 1 for a 7, I guess.
Yep.
Well, I suppose the bigger one would be the 10. So, boy. Yeah. With that, you observe everything I've mentioned. You do kind of, as you're looking around, you note that the room to the left seems to be sort of a study / office slash laboratory is too grand a word. That's where he keeps his healing supplies. That in that sort of leftmost room. You're not seeing it. You kind of glance at the books as you go around. They seem to be mostly of a medical bent, but there's a few sort of historical books on sort of very high-minded stuff, like, different planes, all the different gods, and all that kind of stuff. I guess kind of like theological textbooks, I suppose, or at least. Textbooks might be too strong, but sort of histories and theories on such things kind of scattered amongst. But yeah, that's pretty much what you garner from this room. Not a huge amount.
I'm starting to wonder if perhaps it was indeed
That would be troubling.
good friend Rodri. What if
Yeah, I guess Rodri, they've been rifling through. You can kind of finish up and look through your detecting eyes.
All right, I will start in the sort of the front area. So down near the front door, just kind of take a look around in the open plan area. Anything stick out?
You are not getting any kind of you're not pinging any magical glows off anything with you as you kind of move around.
Oh. I pull out the ring as well.
Okay. You do get a very faint glow off the ring. Oh, I got to work out what kind of magic it is now, don't I?
I mean, sort of.
Magic.
I
What?
believe that some things just fall under a sort of general. It has a magical aura if it doesn't have a specific one,
Yeah, it has a magical aura,
Right.
but not a strong one. Like maybe it's been sort of near magic.
How does it compare to, say, the little? I have a necklace with a little scroll on it. How does it compare to
Yeah,
that?
pretty similar.
Okay, all right.
So perhaps it's not inherently magical itself, but there is something to it.
Right. It probably is used as some, like you said, like an arcane focus or a divine focus, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will. I'll. Was there anything else downstairs? I didn't think there was. It was mostly open plan and then upstairs, right?
No upstairs. Open plan. Door to the left. Door to the right.
Oh, I don't know why I thought there were stairs. Oh, I heard
Well,
high and low. That's what threw me.
he said upstairs? Is it a pitched roof, like open, kind of like
Yeah, it's
exposed?
yes. The roof is pretty open and exposed. The roof actually is slightly saggy just through lack of upkeep.
Right. Okay, I'll go door to the right first.
Nothing in there. Oh,
Okay,
that's the
boring.
bedroom.
Okay, door to the left.
Door to the left, you don't sense any magical auras, but I don't think anybody's really full on been in here. It is sort of filled with all manner of sort of ingredients, I guess you could say, all sorts of little bottles and vials. There's sort of herbs and ointments. There's little tubes with liquids in that you're not even quite sure what they are. It's all manner of tools of the trade. Yeah.
What? Just looking at it, do I feel like there's anything here that would constitute either a healer's kit or an alchemist kit or any of the other various sort of kits that are
Yeah,
available?
I think you would say, looking around at the various components that would be needed for a healing kit
Mm-hmm.
are there. They're sort of scattered around.
Okay.
And there is like an open bag on the floor that doesn't have anything in it. That you could imagine stuff would be put in there as needed.
Could I?
But there's definitely the components of a healer's kit and more.
Okay.
Like, there's more than just your regular.
Would there be anything that would constitute like a full tools set of, say an alchemist's kit, maybe, or is it less
Um,
sophisticated than that, perhaps? Herbalism kit, maybe?
yeah, I would say there's the components of both, perhaps not fully, but there are tools of both trades.
Okay. Well, I'll
So
try
you've got
to.
sort of you've got sort of for the alchemist kit, you do have all the various kind of tubes and bottles
Mhm.
sort of scattered around, and there does look to be a little sort of burner that one could light up. But I couldn't say it was like a full-on alchemist kit. And same for the herbalism kit. There's definitely lots of herbs and various other, like pestle and mortar and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So maybe sort of partial kits for both,
Hmm.
that I could pad out later with buying a few more supplies, perhaps.
Are you looking to pilfer from this person?
Well, he's dead, isn't he? He's not using it. Waste not, want not. Nobody's
uh,
going to miss it.
yeah, I would say if you decide to sort of gather what you could,
Yeah.
you could probably get enough so that you would get like a 50% discount off of Viva if you were to try and buy the
Okay.
remaining stuff.
I'll gather the alchemist supplies
Okay.
as best I can, and I will. Oh no, I don't get rid of that. I'll do. There we go. And that's what I once I've kind of ransacked that, I'll just sort of call out and say, has anyone looked in here?
I was gonna say I was like right behind. I was gonna say I've known you for a couple of months and you still surprise me taking a dead man's things. As I slide a candle off the table into my pocket.
Well, no. Here's the thing, right? I can make use of this stuff. He's not going to. I think he would, knowing what we know about the man, he'd want to go to someone who's in the trade, someone who would carry on the good deeds, or something like that.
It sounds an awful lot like you are attempting to soften your actions.
That rather sounds like the pot calling the kettle black, but okay.
Well, if there are ghosts here, maybe now would be the time for them to strike.
Why?
And I look around.
Because I picked up some alchemist supplies.
I don't know. I don't know if they're vengeful ghosts.
Oh, well, I mean,
Maybe
that
they're
makes sense.
a protectful ghost.
Yeah. I mean, such things exist, I suppose.
I pull the candle out and I put it back on the table. Just in case.
Speaking of the creepy vibes, do we actually feel anything slightly creepy in the house, or does it just kind of have that air of neglect?
Roll me a quick perception. That's a normal roll.
13.
Okay, so the vibes you're getting off the place are, there is a bit of a, it's hard to put your finger on it, but there is a vibe that is a little creepy. Everything feels a little dank and dark, even beyond the mustiness. Just kind of gives you that sort of hair standing up on the back of your neck kind of feel,
In my case, that is it.
I'm not quite sure why we're still here, to be honest.
I think we were expecting to find, well, an obvious clue of.
Right, but now it just feels like we're going to get attacked by some sort of undead entity that wants us gone.
Well, if he's undead, then we have you, and we have no problem. If he's not undead, we have Drauf, and then there's no more problem.
I see how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
We can leave.
We're not saying we have to leave, mind you.
Well, what next then? I don't spend the night, see if anything weird happens. But what is that going to get us?
I'm sorry, do what now?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas because I don't have a whole lot right now.
Well, no, it's just I thought you said we could spend the night, and that's crazy talk.
You guys all right in there?
Yes, we are
Okay.
still searching.
We found
I-
some more
okay.
bricks, don't worry.
I can't go away. It's my job.
Fine, stay.
Thank you.
Now back to the matter at hand. Putting our collective ingenious minds together, what do we have so far? We have the neighbor across the street. We could conduct surveillance, although she seemed to not see that. I don't know. She seemed like there was nothing wrong.
I mean, it's all relative, I suppose, isn't it?
That was killing this. We have what was it about Sylvan, the innkeeper?
Oh, it's
Was he-
no, he just knows a little bit of magic. That's all. A bit of intel on the residents. Nothing more than that, unfortunately.
Okay. The little boy should be back any time now with his friend.
Mm-hmm. Um, can I take a look around the house looking for secret doors or false panels, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
What would that be?
I will let you choose.
I'd very much prefer perception.
Yeah. You can try and perceive. You're kind of having an all around look. I'm actually going to as you do begin to look around,
Mhm.
your gaze. Oh, getting echo. Okay, it's gone. Your gaze passes across the front door again, and your detect magic flares up briefly.
On the front door.
Beyond the front door, on the corpse itself.
Go back out. Go.
As you get
follow me, folks.
As you get a little closer, you realize that where the wound is, down the front of the body, there is the faintest glow of magic.
What sort of magic?
You would estimate conjuration magic. And you sort of follow that down, and because of the spell's nature, as you sort of reach the bottom, you you glance across and look and see that there is a glow around the left hand as well. Again, a faint glow. The hand is kind of like balled in a fist.
I pry open his hand.
As you pry it open, you see what looks to be a star of cuts across his hand. Looks like he cut it 3 times somehow into sort of a star of cuts, if that makes sense, like a cross, and then a cross again. And the glow seems to emanate from that wound as well.
Sort of like that.
Yeah.
What sort of magic is that?
Same.
Same. Is it the same kind of glow then? Like it's connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a Skaven. I'm gonna say it out of character.
Oh, I was thinking it.
That was the perfect thing to say with your character.
Yeah. So, okay.
Actually, let me be more specific. It's going to be a bit more like this. That was kind of close, but less.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
I see.
So it's a full-on sort of, yeah.
I got you.
Press star on the.
Would
Soundscapes.
I recognize that symbol from anything? Does it ring any bells?
I guess roll me a religion check.
I am. Is it out? Yeah. 21.
21, nice. You don't recognize the symbol in particular, but the carving of specific designs on the hand kind of plucks at a worrying nerve in your mind. It's not something that people do.
Feels a bit culty.
Yes. There's something distinctly wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
It is precisely the kind of thing people do when they are sort of either worshipping dark entities or, yes, joined a dark cult or something.
I'll
It is.
just look at Levin and I'll say, Levin, you ever seen this symbol before? Hold up.
Oh, you went a bit roboty there. I think you were
Oh.
talking to the guard, right?
Yeah, I said to I'll hold up the hand to Levin. And I'll say, have you ever seen this symbol before?
That's creepy. Told you it was creepy.
Thank you. Appreciate your assistance.
Would I know? I mean, I know I didn't do the best searching, but is this something that sort of like has popped up recently, or was like my searching so bad I just didn't notice it at the beginning?
It was on the inside of a curled fist,
Okay,
so you just wouldn't have.
just didn't notice it.
You wouldn't have seen it, yeah.
Okay,
The cuts were fresh, right, and not like old.
This is not old. No, this was new.
Does it look like it's probably happened about the same time as the damage to the rest of his body?
You would. It's hard to tell because the nature of the wounds is different.
Mm-hmm.
But you would say it's kind of, it doesn't look old, but
Mhm.
it's already kind of scarred over.
So it looks like that it was healing. Is
It
what you're
was
saying.
it at least kind of stopped, you know, that very initial kind of stop bleeding, kind of pre-scab, but trying to, you know, close.
Um,
What about in his other hand? Or
well, that's where
under the rest?
the ring was on the hand, right?
Yeah, and that hand was just open.
Can I just kind of give him a thorough once over the body, looking for any other symbols and checking for any other signs of damage?
Yes. Um, I think, yeah, I'll give you another perception. I'm feeling nice.
I'm also quite good with medicine. I don't know if you feel like
If
that's
you
more appropriate.
if you're yeah, sorry, if you're looking for that kind of stuff as well, then yeah, let's do a
Yeah.
medicine. Sorry, when you said looking for symbols initially, it threw me off.
Wow.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Phil.
25.
So with that 25, you solved the case. Good work.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit on that little pile of rocks. And watch.
So what I will say is you find no, oddly enough, you find no other signs of struggle or wounding. It doesn't look like there was a fight. These two wounds are the only thing you see. You don't see any other marks on him. But on a more close inspection of the wound, you can't help but note the precision of the cut. It's not a, you'd imagine, I mean, you've seen plenty of wounds in your time. When a sword cuts, it can do a clean cut, but there's a sort of straightness and a cleanness to the edges of the wound that surprises you. Almost as if it had been, I mean, it obviously hasn't been due to the nature of it, but it's the precision of like a scalpel on like a large scale,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Um,
And even beyond that, as you kind of look to the open wound itself, there's a very faint layer of, you'd almost kind of say, kind of like a sort of black, sooty looking material, sort of dusted on them, on his exposed innards.
yeah, you see this? It's like,
Just to be sure, I'm gonna pull a torch out and light it. Get some good light.
oh, yeah, well, no.
With her, I guess, unsavory, I guess maybe we could even, just call it fiendish connections. Would Isabel recognize the symbol?
Roll me a, I don't know, I guess a religion or an arcana check, whichever floats your boat.
Going Arcana.
Hey,
20.
you guys just been saving up.
I changed my dice color.
that's what did it.
Good decision. Oh, I just
Um,
realized I didn't have my 3D dice.
So you don't recognize the particular symbol, but it does lean towards the demonic. The cutting of the hand in that way is highly unusual, and you've kind of heard of, maybe not experienced, but heard of using people using methods like that to do powerful dark magics, whether they be summoning, banishing, sort of sacrificing. It's used in all of those most dark, raising, all of those really dark and unnatural things.
Yeah, she'll just kind of kneel down as Rodri is looking over the body and look at the hand, and just kind of glance around to the group and say, our cleric here was definitely into something that was a little on the blacker side of magic.
Asked us.
That cut on his hand. What are the odds that we come across another individual with such a mark? Or even scours the town? Could he have potential mystery friends? Or is he a solo one-man operation?
I have a feeling that these things tend to travel in packs, It would not at all surprise me if there was more going on. Question is, who and where?
Or is this the type of thing that we make public? Because if there are more, it just tips them off.
Yeah, I'd be hesitant to try and put too much of this out there. I think you're right. I think it forces those who are up to mischief, they just go into hiding, and then just puts everyone on, in panic mode.
If he was a cleric of the town, there has to be some sort of, or some other individual, someone. He clearly had a relation, even if it was a somewhat bad one. Someone must know more.
The the guard there pipes up again and says, "Oh, you talking about a cleric? Yeah, I don't think he was a cleric. They're powerful folk, aren't they?
That's right, they are.
Don't they
Right.
use like magic and stuff?
You're saying he didn't use magic?
No, it's just our healer.
Hmm.
You saw what he got in there. You know, give you ointment or well, that was mostly what he did. Just gave you an ointment. That was mostly his thing. He never performed any miracles or anything.
Were there any of those? Well, I'll ask Rodri. Were there any of those ointments or anything like that left inside?
There are a couple of vials or something. I'm not sure what they
Did
were.
you get any weird vibes off of those?
Got weird vibes off a lot of stuff in there. It was weird.
Maybe his healing powers didn't really necessarily come from a good spot.
That's possible. Yeah, I mean that happens all the time. I mean, how we'd figure that out exactly, I don't know. I guess we can go take a look at those remaining, the things he's got left. See if we can figure out what they are. Not a bad place to start.
Assuming you head in and do that.
Yes, I will head in and do that.
Let's have you roll another medicine check.
25 again. Weirdly,
Wow.
it didn't roll.
So on kind of inspecting and smelling, some things you recognize as sort of reasonably well-known sort of balms and ointments. You know, some of them are for, supposed to be for a bad cold. Some of them are for sort of a salve for like a wound and whatnot. Some of them don't smell like herbal or anything at all. They smell, if anything, more dank and decaying. Some of them are sort of dark, almost black. Some of them are sort of a nasty, sort of brownish, beigey brownish color. There's all sorts. Nothing seems to be like a full-on potion in any way, but there's definitely some weird stuff that's been collected or mixed.
Some weird stuff in there, all right.
That was in his office? Or like the work
Yes.
lab?
That was in the office.
Is there any strange, like, more less dust covered books or anything that are more obvious, kind of on top, that have been thumbed through, or like research? Or...
The not anything too recent. The books in that room are of nature, pretty much all medical in the sort of, I guess, office / laboratory. Nothing sort of stands out as unusual in that sense.
And there weren't any other rooms that had that as like, I don't remember the detailed description, but like in the main living, near any like frequently sat looking chairs, there's no like books that are, or
No, none of the there was actually no books set out at all. They were all just sort of shelved.
Okay.
And the chairs, kind of, none of them look sort of that frequently sat in, weirdly enough. They all have kind of a dusty, musty kind of look gathered around the side of the room.
So, do you think it's worth going to Madron with what we know?
I don't think it could hurt.
Maybe he knows something about sick activity. I don't think we're finding anything else here, not at the moment. I didn't see any signs of any, hidden areas or what have you.
Oh, that's right. You were going to do that, and I interrupted you, didn't I?
Do I find any hidden areas?
What did you roll for your perception?
I think that was the 19.
The 19. So, assuming that, because you kind of got sidetracked by the magic outside, assuming you sort of now that you've come back inside, retake up that search. You kind of do go around and sort of check the paneling on the wall. The one thing you do notice is that there is as you kind of walk across the middle of the room, there is a sort of creakiness, and the corner of the sort of thick rug is kind of like dog-eared somewhat.
Say no more. I think we got a live one here. So, let's see what we've got, shall we? And I will push back any furniture that's over there. There might be any.
It's actually pretty much been sort of already pushed back to the walls for the most part.
How convenient. So, pull back the carpet.
You find underneath the carpet what seems to be like a little trapdoor. Just made of plain wood. But as the only wood in the otherwise stone floor, that definitely gave you a different feel as you walked over it.
Alright. You ready?
Very keen eye you have, Rodri.
Something just felt amiss, that's all. Right.
So you heading down?
Oh, your eyes are in there. I hope someone's following me.
After you, Rodri. Or,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Okay. I can open it up. So
All
I
right.
shall do so.
So as you head on down.
Can I see down? Like, how deep is it?
Oh, there is a little like a little ladder that goes down. It is not too far down. It looks like the floor might be maybe 10 feet down. It's very dark. There's no light source though, so it is very dark.
Mm. Okay.
I'm at the top, like,
Oh no. I'm
talking
gone.
down.
It's dark.
I can.
That's all I got so far. So, what do I see then?
You see a small kind of underground room. Snap on this is annoying.
It's moving around. It's getting a little
There
dizzy.
we go. Alrighty. This is sort of equivalent of where it would be, right in this sort of center. It is very dank and cold. You really can't see it. Are you guys using a light source or are you going dark?
I would have my torch.
I guess with the little bit of light shining down from the torch, you see that.
I'll brighten his light and make it a pure white instead of the yellow using thaumaturgy.
Okay.
What a fun little.
What does thaumaturgy do?
In this instance, it would be can cause flames to flicker, brighten, dim, or change color for 1 minute.
Okay.
So it's just a bit brighter.
So as you initially look down, Joel, you can kind of see through the torchlight what seems to be a dark, sort of mini puddle of dark liquid right in the center of the room, and what looks to be maybe a dagger lying off to one side. As Rodri changes the nature of the light, all of a sudden you see an intricate net of symbols light up on the floor around that pool of blood. It seems to illuminate something drawn onto the floor.
This looks bad. Roger, you should get down here and take a look at this.
Right. I will get down there and take a look at it.
All right.
What's the
Yeah,
way
you
down?
see that?
Is it?
There's like a little ladder to the side of the room,
Lovely. I will take the little ladder down.
and you
Step
you
out of
find
the way.
yourself in this in this dark room. Most of the floor of the room, not entirely, but most of it is this sort of circular pattern of symbols and glyphs that had previously been unnoticed. And right in the center, as you get closer, you see a pool of dark red liquid that seems to have mostly dried up.
Hmm. Well, first things first, I'd like to look at the symbols and see if they ring any bells.
Religion check me.
Seven.
They
Well,
don't, but you know enough to know that they do not look like anything that you've ever seen in your own holy works.
Right. Would it be a reasonable intuitive leap to suspect that the puddle is blood?
It would.
No need to taste
You
that.
said
Hermit.
there's a dagger on the floor.
Yeah.
I will.
The blade of it also seems to be slightly red.
I'm assuming at this point my detect magic has faded.
I would think probably so with the back and forth.
Yeah. I will just use a spell slot to cast it immediately.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on a limb. I'll say to Rodri that maybe this is where that scratch mark he had on his hand came from.
All of my thinking too.
The room sort of lights up, or the floor lights up
Mhm.
as you cast detect magic, and you're getting that same conjuration vibe, but just stronger.
That's what I was afraid of. I think this is some sort of summoning circle. Not exactly what. That would be my guess. If I had to try and put this together, I'd suspect that maybe he got himself muddled up in something dark, tried to bring forth a creature, and paid for it.
Are Isabel and Chester still upstairs?
Yes.
I guess Chester was shining the torch over the edge, right?
Yeah, he kind of like kneeled down and put down the torch there to provide whatever light he could. I'm doing very.
I'll shout up since Isabel seems to have known a little bit about this kind of thing. Say, so is this thing going away, or are we gonna have to kill it?
She'll peek over the edge of the trapdoor hole in the floor. And can she tell anything from up top?
I will say roll one more Arcana check.
Was it just a generic dagger?
Yes, it doesn't seem to be.
That was a whole 7.
So you know enough to know that it depends.
We are rolling on fire tonight, y'all.
But you do know that it can depend on what the nature of the circle and such is as well. The sort of components being used to create it can sort of lead. two different types of summon, though you don't recognize the symbols themselves.
Well, without knowing what he actually summoned, it could be variable.
But I've just remembered that I have guidance.
You have what? What's that now?
I have the spell, well, cantrip guidance. You know, the one that makes all of your rolls better. Anyway,
Yep. Dead silence.
Out of the party.
You
So-
see
Say that.
you see a hand float down from upstairs, just a gentle glowing red hand, and just pat Rodri gently on the head, and then disappear.
Okay, it's my belief that this probably isn't over. Furthermore, I suspect that it's entirely possible that Delano was just a middleman. Maybe he was. It seems like he was out of his depth, let's say. Now, the only other person we've heard word about in town who knows anything about magic is the pub owner. I'm not saying he's got anything to do with it, but he's the only other person we've heard about who has, so far at least, who has any sort of, magical inclination. Maybe he's been reaching out for power and is somehow tied up in this. I grant you it's a stretch, but frankly, all we've got at the moment is a lot of blood.
Does the blood look like an abnormal amount of blood, like more blood than maybe just cutting your hand would require?
I would say you might have to come down to look. Are you willing to get closer to investigate?
Sure.
Alrighty, just
She'll,
because it's
hike up her
perspective
skirt
and all.
and
Make space.
grudgingly come down the ladder.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an investigation.
These have gone so well before.
It hovered on the
But
one.
still, yeah, a 9.
So it looks like you imagine what might be a reasonable amount of blood. You sort of get down and try and see how deep the puddle is, and look, and you're not entirely sure, but you do see it seems to have a weird sort of film over the top of it. Like it has like little spots of sort of blackened dust that seem to be sort of sat on the very top of it.
Does this black dust look like the black dust that was on Delano's wounds?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems. I mean, it's hard to tell because it's so fine, but it's the only. I mean, they were both black and dusty. Without a microscope, that's probably as much as you can say, really. You need the eyes of minute seeing.
So we're saying this is unnatural, this black stuff, yes? That seem a reasonable
statement as well. I mean, that's not.
I'm
normally
going to
what
say you rolled such a good medicine check earlier that you sense it's very unnatural to have black dust on your insides.
So,
I guess anybody who's down there, roll me a quick perception check.
blimey, 24.
Good
13.
God. 6.
Well, at least Phil's rolling well. Um,
I've changed my dice color 3 times. It's not helping.
I can't see my dice; they don't show up. It's weird.
as Isabel is sort of maybe just casually mentions the black dust again, Rodri, you kind of stoop down to look, and you do see that film of black dust, and you're looking so intently that you see a very faint sort of trail away as well.
Which direction?
Sort of leads towards the ladder. It's just sort of a smattering. But as you kind of notice that and glance around, you don't see it in any other direction.
Okay, I'm gonna head back up and look to see if I can see it above, like around the whatchamacallit.
With the better light from
Trapdoor.
Chasseur's torch right at eye level now, you do now see it. It was hard to see in the natural dustiness of the house before, but now you know what you're looking for. It does seem to lead towards the door.
And then out towards the body.
Yeah.
And then away from the body.
Mm-hmm.
Which way?
It leads right to Levin.
To 11.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it leads.
I was like,
It-
holy crap.
It sort of continues straight down the road away from the house.
I express what I'm doing and tell everyone to come along.
Are you sort of trying to follow it?
Oh yes.
I
We have a
guess. I guess I'll have anybody who wants to sort of helm the following of this pretty tricky to follow trail to roll me a survival.
I feel like this is something a ranger should help with for sure.
Please, this is my area of expertise.
I will follow along, drawing my great axe.
There it is.
This way.
Oh my goodness.
And I point the.
Oh jeez.
So so
I also have
You-
a +4 and I got a 6.
you actually you keep trying to follow it, and you sort of make some progress, and then for one moment you think it leads towards the house that you went and knocked on the door of earlier, and then you realize that wasn't it, and you kind of lost track of it. You do this a number of times, and it actually takes you. You don't fully lose track of it because you can always head back and regain the trail. But you do spend a good hour just between this road and the main thoroughfare attempting to follow this trail. The people that are out at this time, as it's kind of beginning to get to dusk, are giving you strange looks. Because you're apparently walking down the road staring at it and then getting in a huff, turning around, going back. and doing the same thing again, and then getting in a huff, arguing and turning back. But eventually you find that it seems to lead to the northern town gate.
Well, it took much diligent time, but I do believe.
And yeah, it
I
sort of
agree.
seems to go through the gate. Do you
Through
wish
the
to
gate.
follow it beyond?
I mean, I think we have to at this point, don't we?
Should
Well,
we
I hate to say
notify
it.
the authorities? No, you're cutting us off.
I was just going to say if you are, you're going to have to roll survival checks again.
Oh,
Well, I was going to say, while Chaucier was wandering around, so thoroughly trying to follow this track,
hmm
could Isabel's little pseudo dragon try to pick up the scent outside of the
sure.
gates? So let's see. He has keen senses, so he
Uh-huh.
has advantage on anything relying on sight, hearing, or smell.
I would give you. I think this
Ooh.
would probably be. I mean, it could use either sight or smell.
Hmm.
I guess it could roll a perception. Whoa!
Oh well. I mean, I'll roll again just because I can.
Just keep rolling those 20s.
Let's
Oh,
take
there
the
we go.
first one, shall we?
yeah, that's better.
But that would be a 21 total that he would get.
All right. So yeah,
That's
you,
nice.
Shusser and Rodri sort of keep wandering back and forth and arguing, and eventually get to the gate. You kind of release. Does it have a name?
Belly is what she's
Belly?
calling him right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
And he.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. He. You kind of see him seeming to pick up the scent and begins to sort of fly northward, kind of looking back at you every now and again, but seems keen on the scent.
Darlings, I know you're trying your best, but I do believe Belly has the scent.
Well, he's not led us astray yet. Very well. Lead on, young skilly friend.
It was a very good effort, Chaucier.
I was soon to find exactly what.
I'm going to make sure my shield is well strapped on as we get out here.
The guards as you pass say, "Careful out there."
Do us a favor, don't let anyone leave through this gate for the time being.
Including you or after you?
No, after us, obviously. We're
Okay.
going out. Don't let anybody follow us. We're not sure. It might be dangerous, okay? Thank
It certainly is.
And by careful, do you mean in the normal sort of foresty beast kind of way?
Of course.
Okay.
Do I believe him?
Yeah, roll me an insight. We haven't done any insight today.
9.
Oh, 18 for... Rodri? Yeah, he seems pretty genuine. Just he seems genuine, but there's a hint of... He's sort of partially serious, partially just kind of,
Aha.
you guys know it's pretty dangerous wandering around. Anyway, that's your trade. Anywhere outside the town. But you do make your way, and it sort of becomes darker and darker as you go. Are you keeping torch going? Just for light, or are you letting... I will say it's sort of, it is partially cloudy, so the light isn't great, but it's not pitch black.
I think since we're
Yeah.
following a trail, we'd probably be best to keep the light on, wouldn't we?
Shall we keep it at normal intensity, or can you dim it down to make it just a little bit less?
Sure, I can make it burn a little less brightly, but bright enough for for Belly to lead us.
That would be perfect.
And I will dim it down and turn it a nice shade of pink.
All right. As you travel, you kind of travel through sort of down the main road, but soon it kind of leads off into the deeper country. And you spend a good 10, 15, 20 minutes just sort of following the dragon, hoping that it has the right trail, occasionally looking down and sort of confirming. Feel like you see just a smattering of that sort of black dust. Till he finally kind of gets to a point and seems to sort of raise up in the air and circle around. And you find yourself in sort of a kind of muddy, swampy area. A little bit wasteland. Looks like there used to be an old house out here, but it's abandoned now. But yeah, the ground is not easygoing for the most part.
I love everybody's like getting ready.
Are people doing some stuff over there?
Mine wasn't intentional. I was thinking about doing it. But I hadn't got around.
Mine was very much intentional. Using one of her Eldritch invocations, Isabel is casting Mage Armor on herself.
Okay, nice.
I mean,
Um,
if Belly indicates that he thinks that the trail is getting cold, or at least
Yeah.
that we're reaching the end of the trail, then I absolutely would.
You get the sense that he's kind of saying, "I've reached the end."
Then I absolutely would go ahead and cast Shield of Faith.
Okay. So it's very muddy underfoot mostly. Anywhere where you kind of see that real dark brown is kind of slushy mud that your feet wants to get stuck in. There are kind of like little lighter patches through the middle of it that are easier. But yeah, you kind of see in front of you this abandoned, sort of very ramshackle ruins of a house. And oddly enough, you see sort of the carcasses of a few various dead animals kind of scattered around. Not eaten, but seemingly killed, at least. Which is unsettling, I would say. But yeah, this is the scene you approach, and the area that is being circled is... I can never remember how to do the ping.
Just click and
Actually-
hold.
Oh, okay. So the area that's being circled is directly over the house, or what's left.
Mm-hmm.
None of these animals are standing; they're all kind of laid down dead.
Gotcha.
Isabel will call Belly back to her, and he'll just kind of flutter up and hide underneath her hair around her shoulders.
Okay.
All right. I think this is what we came for. Might I suggest everyone be prepared? May the binder watch over you all. And I'll start walking forwards. If I can't.
Yep.
Oh,
I will
you don't have
walk
control on
next
this
to-
one, do you?
No, but I will walk next to Rodri.
Let's try and stay on the firmer ground, shall we?
Aye.
So I'm gonna
Mm,
just feel. Gonna follow a path kind of like this.
As
Yeah, basically too.
as they're moving,
hmm
is that tree right there? Is that like
Sorry, just there. Okay. You should all have control now. The tree is... You don't? Uh, the tree is probably like a couple of feet wide. It is down on the ground, but it's a pretty thick tree, so it does partially prevent. And then there's a sort of large tree stump in the middle. The walls of the house are probably a good 4 feet where they're sort of together.
okay? Could I hop up on the side of this fallen tree just for a little bit better?
Yeah. Is everybody going where you've gone now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there something weird about this thing that I'm standing next to before I get too terribly close to it?
Too late, by the sounds of it.
Well, I mean the Cthulhu tree.
It looks like a regular tree.
Okay. Good to know.
Everybody roll me a perception check real quick.
Hot dang, 21.
21.
All right, Drywolf and Isabel.
16 is the lowest.
As you're all kind of like trying to peer as intently as you can in this kind of darkness. As you kind of peer towards the house, you see a figure, and it seems to be sort of huddled, facing the other direction. And it seems to have kind of wings up on its back, but they're slightly kind of curled around it. But is not paying you any attention, right? And it's hard to make out much more than that. It's so dark.
Isabel will stop walking immediately and actually reach out to Rodri and just kind of gently hold like his cloak or whatever he's wearing to just kind of quietly indicate to him to stop moving.
Oh, cease activities.
Yeah, I mean, once I saw it, I would stop. So
My short bow is drawn,
All right.
but just
Then what would you like to do? You're in a
I'm gonna.
currently you're in a stalemate of inactivity.
I'm going
I mean,
to.
I'm
cast
going to
aid,
prepare. Oh, go ahead.
I think.
Sorry, Rodri, what were you saying?
I'm going to cast aid.
Okay.
Just at second level. Can't go higher.
Who does that hit?
That will hit. The three closest, so myself, Drywolf, and Isabel.
No worries, I am fine.
Correct.
And Drywolf, what were you saying?
Oh, I'm gonna kind of flex my neck a little bit and get into starting working myself up into a bit of a rage. Get myself ready.
Okay. I like it.
See the vein on the side of my neck start to bulge just a little bit.
Did you cast Shield of Faith in the end,
Yeah.
Rodri? I will give you a shield as well.
Enough.
Okay. Isabel, did you have anything?
She just has mage armor up right now. Otherwise, she's just holding. She's not making any
And-
moves yet.
Okay. And what about Chasseur?
Currently, I have my short bow ready in case it makes some sort of aggressive approach to my.
Okay.
And I'm a bit of a distance away. I do not know what my friend.
They don't seem to be doing anything right now.
I just sort of look at everyone and say, "Are we ready?"
Just I'll nod.
Isabel will nod too.
Okay. I will call out in common. Surrender now, peacefully, and we'll put an end to this. Or don't, and we'll put an end to this.
It's hard to see entirely, but it looks like it turns its head, and inside all of your heads, you hear, "Leave me alone."
Afraid we can't do that. There's blood on your hands. This doesn't have to end in your death here and now.
I am not here by choice. But you offer me life?
Maybe.
Are you so sure? And it sort of fully turns and raises up. And it just sort of like lifts a couple of feet off the ground. Its big black wings beat, and you see its full height of 7 or 8 feet. It's hard to tell, it's just sort of a dark mass. Large curved horns on the top of its head. Sort of a sort of smoky, incorporeal look to its base.
Well, we tried, didn't we?
As I thought.
And I'm going to charge it.
Yep.
Okay. Roll me some initiative.
It feels like we've reached that point. How do I
It's
do
not
this
terrible.
Yeah.
14.
7.
13.
Okay. All right. 14, 8. And 7. So with that, it sees you all begin to move, and it seems like it was ready. It sort of ducks back down, wings draw in, and it sort of swoops behind the wall, and then out of sight.
Well, that more.
So that makes it Trust's go.
Well, it looks like we have won. Well, nowhere.
So last time you saw it, it was ducking behind the back of the house.
I do believe I will remain with a readied action until I see it.
Okay. You're gonna hold that bow shot till you see it? Alrighty. Anything else? Or are you just staying put and doing that?
I am very comfortable here.
Alrighty. In that case, it is gonna be Drewolf's go.
All right, I'm going to run over there.
Into the house.
Yep. And do I see anything?
Roll me a quick perception check.
Sure. 15.
No sign of it. You run past the large corpse of a bear. Seems fresh, but you kind of look around, and everything looks like a black shadow right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stand here, frothing, and I'm going to hold my attack. So if it gets near me, I'm going to swing at it.
Okay. In that case, it is gonna be Rodri's go.
Righto.
Rodri, you see this creature just swoop behind the wall before you can even. You didn't have anything readied, right?
No.
You didn't. Oh, I guess technically. Chesso, did you want to get off your shot from last time? You did have some. You did say your bow was readied.
Technically, if it didn't aggressively attack, I wouldn't.
Okay. I mean, it
So
did
it kind of
It did sort of retreat. I just wanted to give you the chance if that's what you had planned. So yes, Rodri,
I'm going to move in here. Actually, I'll
move
move
into the house.
in here. And I will,
Do you want to perceive?
Sort of. Can't do what I was going to do. Because even if you hold even a cantrip, it requires your concentration, and that's busy. So I will not hold it. What I will do is, sure, I will take a look.
Did you say you were going to take a look?
Yeah.
Okay.
18.
18. That's better. You just can't see anything.
Right.
Nothing useful anyway.
I'll
You're sort of doing the same. You're doing the same as Drewolf right now. You keep sort of like thinking you see something, but it's just the shifting of the clouds.
I will. I will grab a torch from my pack and light it.
All right. What's your radius on that? You remember?
20. Please.
the torch is 20.
20 of good light and then 20 of dim light.
Yeah. Hold on. Yep.
Which to dark vision should be 40 feet of good light.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
20.
Okay. Good to know. Is that everything?
That's everything. Yeah.
All right, Isabel.
She's just gonna kind of follow suit and kind of go around the side of the tree trunk towards the front of the house. And she is going to hold a firebolt
Okay.
in case he comes back out and is aggressive, specifically if he attacks anyone.
Okay.
You just see her
So-
hands start to like crackle a little bit at the fingertips with fiery energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That brings us back to the top of the round. Let's see. Rodri. From behind the wall, a dark figure swoops to your side.
Oh, hello.
Isabel and Chasseur, I believe you are both going to be able to see this. It sort of comes into the light briefly.
There you are.
Oh,
So you may make your attacks.
$17.
Ooh.
17. Sorry, just checking something real quick. Okay. Isabel, back to the natural ones. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Had real good luck with those tonight.
in the surprise, you sort of fire it out, and it just sort of, the creature's moving so fast it kind of just like shoots right by it and sort of arcs off. Chasseur, you do hit. You make contact.
The
9 damage, piercing. 5 sneaking.
Alright, nice. So that's 14 piercing altogether. Alright. So you see the arrow sort of disappear into the smoke. And it sort of seems to twitch. But it does not take as much damage as you would hope it would. Doesn't seem as bothered. And as it drops in next to Rodri, it slashes at him with razor-sharp claws. Claws that you now, thinking back, realize the potential of.
mm-hmm.
But it is only going to get a 14 to hit,
No.
and it will attack you again.
Not necessary.
It's going to be the same again. So it seems to struggle in the sort of immediate bright torchlight. You see its form kind of solidify slightly in your vision, and it really struggles with that. And so after doing that, it just raises up into the air, kind of swoops up. It is going to leave it's going to go about 20 foot up in the air, so it is going to leave your
Okay.
zone of surrounding.
I will take a swing with my torch. So that's what I have in my hand.
Okay.
Oh, that rolled. Okay. Hey, that's a 16, I think, to hit.
That is going to hit.
Okay, it does 1 point of fire damage.
All right.
And that's it. Torches do not do damage, everybody.
So yeah, you just kind of swing the torch at it, and it sort of brushes off its dark hide, barely noticing it. And now you all see it kind of in the light of the torch. You see it hovering above Rodri. And that will be Chesser's turn.
I find it most unpleasant when they are constantly up. Going to move 5 feet over. Use bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark.
Alrighty.
And loose another arrow at our demon. Unnatural.
That will hit.
And a couple of 5 from the bow. And ranger feature for Hunter. He's wounded.
Yeah.
I can get an additional D8
Ooh.
for a total of 10 damage. 16 total.
The old Colossus Slayer.
So that was 14.
There you go. Yeah.
16.
Is that right? 16. Okay, nice. So yeah, you launch another arrow, and it arcs up into the firelight from the shed from the torch, and with it lit up this well, you get a great hit on it, and it just kind of plunges into the shadow. It's kind of hard to tell what effect it's having, because its form is not fully solid, but seems to have done some damage anyway.
All right.
What do you wish to do?
I on the off chance, I'm going to yell out in Abyssal. Don't know what I'm going to yell, but I felt like I was going to yell. Yeah, just on the off chance, I'm going to yell out in Abyssal at him. Unless you think we are in the wrong, this could not end very well for you, my friend. And then I'm going to hop off the log and use it for cover.
Alrighty. Alrighty. That is gonna be a Drewolf. Mm-hmm. I believe that's barbarian-y, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Throw away. A 6 will not quite hit. Your rage maybe bubbled over a little too much at not being able to close quarter with him, so the javelin goes a little wayward. Any movement? All right. That is gonna be Rodri's turn.
Okay, so for my action, I would like to take my torch and try and set the bear on fire. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna place the torch onto the bear and try and let it catch fire. That'll be my action. With my bonus action, I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna summon a large silver scroll that then folds up right next to him and swats him.
That's not very nice.
Ooh, that's lovely. So it was 21 to hit with my spiritual weapon. And it dealt 12 force damage.
12 force damage, actually.
Yeah, I got an 8 on the attack die.
So you bash him with a large scroll?
I bash him with a large scroll, yes.
All right. So yes, you the large scroll kind of hit. It doesn't really see it coming, and it just kind of clobbers him. And he seems most perturbed by that. Kind of like his wing beats kind of stutter for a moment,
It's like an uppercut.
and he falters.
And then sort of placed, kind of ends up next to him, but slaps him in the head
Okay,
on the way up.
nice. Any movement, or are you staying put?
No, I just turned to face, really.
All right. The bear is beginning to crackle, but it's going to take a moment.
That's fine.
Isabel.
Oh, well, seeing her firebolt just, completely go off in the wrong direction, the fire at her fingertips is going to change into a more crackly red energy, and she is going to shoot off an Eldritch Blast
Whoa.
for a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
And did that work?
Yeah,
Yes.
7 force
7
damage.
damage.
So yeah, you just streak out a bolt of eldritch energy, which pummels it in the side, and it kind of looks like it screeches, but no noise comes out. It just kind of turns and kind of opens its mouth as if it was screeching in your general direction. And again, is being bombarded by all sides, wondering if flying up in the air was a good idea.
And she is just going to kind of step over to the side here where the wall looks a little, more intact still, and kind of use it as a little bit of cover.
Okay. That brings it back around to the creature's turn. The creature, sorry. It is going to swoop down back to ground level around this side of the bear, avoiding you guys. It places its hand on the beginning to burn bear and just digs its claws in slightly, and there's a pulse of energy. And then it continues to swoop over and round Isabel, and is going to claw at you. One. Okay. Yeah, it rolled a natural one.
Thank God.
So its claws kind of flail at you, powerless. But as it does, you see in the distance, and not as in the distance as you guys would like, the bear begins to rise to its feet, fur beginning to singe, and turns towards you. Lifeless eyes kind of gazing at you. And it is going to attack what is right in front of it. It is going to attack Raoul. I'm not surprised because I then rolled a natural 2. So it kind of attempts to claw at you, but it is sluggish at best right now. Shatter, you see the creature swoop down behind Isabel and attempt to rake at it unsuccessfully. Rake at her, sorry. Unsuccessfully.
I'm going to my dear sweetie seven, and lunge at it. Whilst holding the bow, I'm gonna lunge at it with.
Alrighty.
I did not input a, so we're just gonna. That should be. I want to say.
16 will hit.
That should be a 5.
5 damage.
Hunter's mark. 10 plus 12. Colossus. Totaling
17, nice.
This is how you use.
In reaction, it kind of like, it sort of staggers back from that and turns to you and just, finally it does emit a screech. And both of you roll a wisdom check. Wisdom save, sorry.
Now look what you.
That is a 20.
Oh, no problem for you. And no problem for you, 21.
20.
Oof.
Obviously, she is bolstered by my.
Yeah, you hear this sort of blood-curdling unnatural screech. But it's nothing you guys haven't dealt with before, no problem. So that was Chesser's turn. That makes it Drowul's turn. Oh dear. Maybe. What does Frenzy do? Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
Okay, I'll ignore that. So yes, your Drolf is just having a really rough time getting it together here. But he is in a grisly situation, so who can blame him? Rodri.
Right.
Sorry, Drywolf.
I observe the slightly wayward swing, but nevertheless, I know that Drywolf's probably accurate when he says he's got it. That said, I can still. I'm just going to move around the bear to get a
I
better
do like
look.
the idea that he says, "Don't worry, I've got this," and completely misses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to turn my back to the bear for now, but stay close. I'm going
Okay.
to summon bring the holy
Yeah.
newspaper over
Uh-huh.
and try and bat it in the head again. Because I think it's
Okay,
still
go
within
for
20
it.
feet of where it was before.
Yeah.
That is a 22 to hit
Oof, you guys saved your rolling for the end.
for 9 force damage.
Ouchie.
Price you pay for bad.
And then I need you
Yeah.
to make a DC 14 deck save, yeah.
Deck save. That's probably good. I rolled an 11 plus 5, so 16.
Righto. Never mind. You do not get hit by Sacred Flame. That is
Don't
my
just out
turn.
the way of the sacred flame. Alrighty.
Uh.
That means it is going to be Isabel's turn.
Ooh, I'm not ready. What am I doing? I have too many new spells that I don't know what they do. So, we're just gonna go with another Eldritch Blast.
Now, I think it will be at disadvantage.
For being point blank.
Yeah.
Oh, will it?
Mm-hmm. Unless you... is there a feat that stops that? I can't remember.
I think there might be.
No, there is a feat that I think negates the disadvantage from being like point blank.
Yeah.
You know what? Why not? Let's just use my accidental click from before. Let's do some burning hands.
Alrighty. So what's the deal with burning hands?
So
Is it a save?
It is, yes, it is a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 14 for 19.
Okay, so on a successful save, you still take half damage.
Okay.
So I actually get one extra d6 too, because it's
Okay.
at level 2. I don't know why it's not giving me the option to cast stuff at level 2.
So
but-
that's another 8 on top of the 4? Or you're kind of
Yeah, it'll just be
9.
9 total damage, so half, so 4 damage.
Alright.
Okay.
Cool.
So that is a 15.
Oh, you are in it. You're dexterous.
Well, I was kind
Oh.
of caught up in the...
Well, then you also
And you
take
take
4
double-
damage.
You take
get a
double
little thin.
damage because you're made of fur.
Oh, that's right. You did fail it. So
Beat
yeah.
Barons.
It's just 9 damage. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's a 15-foot cone. Oh.
Oh, it's a house rule I just decided to make. You've got a lot of hair as well. You're a dwarf. Same rule for you. Watch out for that bear.
It does very much think burnt hair is...
It's not very nice
Um,
over here. That's true.
Anything else for Isabel?
No, that'll be it.
Alrighty. So, feeling cornered, it sort of shrinks its wings into itself, and it holds them there for a moment, and then it just flicks them out wide, and a dark radius of black energy sort of floods out into the close by, and it sort of swoops over the three of you that are relatively close. That is going to be a Constitution saving throw for the three of you who are close by.
This is
Nope, really not good.
Not convinced mine's okay at a 14.
Rodri, you do make the save. You'd be pleased to know. So yes, this dark wave of energy just seems to kind of like try and enter through your pores almost. You try and sort of flinch away from it, but it just engulfs the two of you close by. Rodri, you're far enough away that you manage to kind of back off from it. The two of you close by take 13 necrotic damage, and Rodri, you just take half. So
Well, there goes my aid point. Did just want to double check actually. Isabel and Drawolf, did you add your 5 hit points from aid earlier?
I did on paper, not on my sheet.
Oh, that's fine. I can't even see your sheet, so you do what you like on there.
after it does that, feeling cornered, it actually swoops into and out of Chasseur. And continues on, and then raises 10 feet up in the air. Chasseur, you have this wave of black energy hit you, and then as you open your eyes again, you see the demon swoop in and through you. And you feel this coldness, this second wave of coldness as it does so, though it doesn't physically damage you.
But I do feel
Exactly. Drewolf. The bear attempts to claw at you. It rolled a natural. Oh, it does? That's good, because I rolled another natural one. Hey, 15. Hey! Sorry, I shouldn't. But I am. It does 12 piercing damage from the huge claws just raking at you. I'm going to call it slashing damage. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Either way, it's half. And that brings us on to Chasseur's go.
okay. I'll start my turn with coughing up blood.
The creature is actually facing.
So when he proceeded to fly through me, I got no attack of opportunity.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do that. Were you going to claw at it?
Well, of course. I didn't know if I had the.
Yep. You certainly do. That will hit.
Would have any. Seven plus Colossus Slayer. Plus Mark. 4.
Despite generally not looking like it is worrying much about your damage, you can see the edges of its form even in within the bright light now, you see them seeming to tatter up, and there is, as much as possible, a panicked look to it, evil, dark.
Okay, so right after I cough up blood, I'm gonna look at it and be like, I think I understand how you feel. And I'm gonna having stood still, a tabaxi thing, I can double my movement as one.
Oh, nice.
All the way
Yeah,
over
get
there.
yourself out of dodge.
And I'm gonna hunker up next to
Okay.
not mechanically, but I am gonna cast Goodberry. And it does not say eating a berry.
One action.
Oh, it takes okay. So now I'm holding to. And that will be my.
Alrighty.
As I was running away, Isabel, is that?
That is going to bring us on to Drewolf. Mm-hmm. That will hit.
Very nice.
Do it. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't re-roll that. I wouldn't bother re-rolling that one.
I will let you if you want to. 16. And that's just the first hit, right? Alright, attack again.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. Do you have brutal critical or whatever it's called?
I don't think so, yeah.
Yep.
So you roll the dice twice.
Double dice damage.
Yeah. Oh, does he gamble?
Okay, so that was 16
It's a
on
good
the
job.
first and 16 on the second?
Well, plus the 4 again, so 20 on the second.
So in two swings, you cleave this bear, and you can't, it was already sort of on in big trouble, obviously being previously dead and reanimated, but you just cleave into it, and it just falls back to the ground, 2 huge gaping wounds in it, unmoving from just that that single round of attack. Rodri. That was a lot of damage for level
Real-
4.
Real quick,
Mhm.
I realized I have a spell that is a reaction to taking damage.
Mhm.
Could I have used that against the con save damage?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll allow that. He's only kind of swooped away from you, so you can throw that down.
Okay, it is Hellish Rebuke. It is a Dex saving throw.
So it is good on those, so let's see. Ooh. 10, 5, 15?
That succeeds, but it will still take half damage on
Okay.
3d10.
Oof.
Yeah, Hellish Rebuke is really nice.
So 8 damage.
Ouchie. Okay, yeah, the panic look it was giving last time is amplified. It definitely looks like it's in retreat mode. Its sort of graceful glide that it had been doing has turned into sort of a frantic wing beating. And that brings us to Rodri, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Rodri, you see it sort of beating a retreat,
So
swoops over the log.
I will walk across to here. And I'll just say, you should have listened when we gave you a chance. Make me a deck save, please.
Save. Ooh, natural 19. Gonna be a 24.
And in that case, I will send forth. Oh, hold on. I didn't get all of it. Oh, now I've got me. Hold on. Let me just put me over
What are
there.
you sending forth?
The Scroll of Doom.
Oh, what was the deck save for?
Oh, that was for a...
Was it a firebolt or something?
no, Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame, then. Sorry.
And I will try to swat it with my spiritual weapon again. That is a 25 to hit.
Oh, you do.
For 11 force damage.
So the scroll sort of flies through the air as this creature is frantically flapping away, and it sort of uppercuts it, and much like a newspaper hitting a annoying fly, it just swats it right out of the air, and its wings kind of fold up, and it plummets to the ground, and sort of skids to a halt in the into the mud, and the dark figure just lays still, and a sort of strange quietness descends, only broken by the kind of creepy cackling of Drowolf.
Well, we gave it a chance, right? That's all you can do.
It seems to be. The head is sort of about, imagine a human head.
Was that the end of that?
Yeah.
You hear from around the corner vigorous.
Now, is that a euphemism for something, or are you cutting off his head?
And then I'm gonna.
Roll me a strength check. It suddenly rises back up.
That's for Chasseur.
4.
Is he still
You bring
raging?
your You bring your mighty axe down. No, it's faded. Uh, you bring you bring your axe down and ready to gloriously take off its head, and you just sort of miss and hit into the mud next to it, splattering yourself with mud in your enthusiasm. Yeah. You lose tomorrow's rage because of embarrassment. I will say if you continue to keep trying, you can eventually sever the head. As you do, there is kind of like a puff of that black dust, and once the head is disconnected from the body actually sort of disintegrates into a larger pile of black dust.
Okay, that's weird. Do I know what that is?
Roll me a religion check.
22.
And I guess if Isabel wants to roll an arcana check, there's no need, but you could.
Sure, why not? Just
Maybe you can beat him.
I hovered on the 20.
almost.
Cool.
So Isabel, you're not entirely sure, though you can tell it's demonic in nature. Rodri, you've never had experience of anything quite this dangerous. But it does seem it's sort of reminiscent. You kind of study these sort of creatures of the sort of more abyssal planes and such, just in case as a cleric you come up against them, so you know how best to fight them. And you have seen this one in your textbooks back in your learning days. It seems to be kind of like a shadow demon-y type entity, an entity which is not fully corporeal. Why it was summoned, you couldn't say. It is obviously not naturally occurring to this plane.
Yeah. I don't suppose there's nothing else of note around here, right?
On a little sort of shuffle around, it does seem pretty abandoned. The creatures have all died, but do not seem to provide any interest. And there's this place is sort of long, looks like an old shepherd's hut or something that has fallen into disrepair and no use. Perhaps the creature was just hiding here. Hard to know, really.
Well, let's take our proof back to town and collect our reward, shall we?
Well, you tootle off back to town. You get back to the. I assume you head in through the north gate back to the meeting hall.
Yeah, just say to the guards, you can let people through again now. Everything's
They
under
say,
control.
no, we haven't forgotten what you said. You are not coming in.
I use suggestion. No need. I'll just pig-headedly walk through anyway.
Well, we'll let you in this time.
They're saying that to my back.
Walk by. You two are doing a wonderful job. I promise you that.
You too. Come by any time.
Don't take.
But yeah, you head on back to the Great Hall. The town is obviously pretty dead. There are the odd, guard with torches sort of scattered. There's one in front of the meeting hall, and as you enter in, you find the steward is still in the building. Looks like he was kind of gearing up to give up for the night, but on seeing you, just kind of says, "Oh, you made it back already. What is that?" Um, what? This isn't entirely what we arranged.
Well, it's not our fault that Delano got himself mixed up in some sort of demonic summoning. We just followed the breadcrumbs. We got the bricks together,
So-
we built the wall.
So you're saying that there was some kind of supernatural?
I just sort of
He-
gesture
he-
back to the head.
He looks to Irvin. Irvin is just kind of examining the head, kind of trying not to believe it, even though it's right there. Well, wow. What on earth did he have himself mixed up in?
Couldn't say. We didn't see any evidence in the house that would suggest what was going on, really.
This bears further scrutiny. Is the house clear now?
Clear as a stretch.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it'll be 100% removed of threats, and it's definitely got a lot of blood in it.
Covered in dust.
Hmm.
Quite dirty
Hmm.
for someone who was practicing medical.
Should we just burn the place to the ground? Be done with it? This is not... I can't stress enough. This is not something that is normal for this place.
You might find that does more harm than good in a way. You want to do whatever will create the least amount of panic among the populace.
Mhm.
Burning
I
down
will-
a house associated with demonic cults might not be the way to go. Just my opinion.
I will think it through tonight. But I guess... Yes,
Nick,
perhaps we will
I can
go
help with
to
that.
the... Oh, well maybe if you wish to stay the evening, we will enlist your help tomorrow with that.
Well, it's late. I see no reason to go so soon. You agreed?
Well, I'm a man of my word. Here is your pay, plus a bonus. And he sort of motions to the table off to the side, and you do see some bags of coin. It looks like they laid out four bags of coin, just for convenience of splitting it between you. And then there's a fifth bigger bag. He says, "Well, you have done us a service. I I suppose the only bright side of this is that none amongst our townfolk are murderers, which is a pleasing thought amongst the troubles.
Yeah. That's a good thing, for sure. I mean, that you know of, eh? Who's to say what, maybe he had an accomplice? We don't know.
Perhaps, Irvin, you can keep a closer watch on the townsfolk for a while, make sure this hasn't spread. And the militia captain just nods grimly. Why not get rooms in the inn across the way, and we will see you in the morning. Thank you for your service to this town. I will be honest, I will not make this public knowledge, for as you say, fear will spread, and this thing is beyond evil. But I hope pay and a good word is good enough.
Yeah, works for me.
Well, good night. I am off to bed. Sort this out in the morning. And he gets up and wanders out of the hall. Captain just watches, make sure that you all grab your money pouches. Kind of gives you his, normal suspicious look. And stays in the hall whilst you presumably head off to the inn.
Once I figure we're wrapping
Mhm.
up, I would assume, but I would say whilst we were on our way to the inn, that thing you said there, back there, Rodri, about rat, Madrin, the potential of him maybe being a suspect, or others in the town. Perhaps I should spend the evening watching, maybe surrounding the house, just in case.
It's not a bad idea, that. You do that. More power to you. I'm gonna go have a drink and count my money, I think.
Isabel doesn't look great. She looks a little beaten down. So yeah, she definitely wants to go to sleep.
I'd, here, let me, after you say that, I'll just
no.
throw a little, help you away as well. So,
I'm competitively trying to hand you berries. No, here, take these. These will make you feel much.
You're used to Shessa trying to force berries on all of you. It's a common practice.
I mean, if you eat enough of them, it'll probably do better than I can do. True.
Well, with that, you all get a good night's rest apart from Shessa, and we will leave things there. The mystery seemingly solved.